The Slacksnap 2.0 machine is finally done and in my garage. It has a test bed of 5 meters long and goes up to 222 kilonewtons. We are going to celebrate the grand opening of the Slacksnap machine by breaking the single most expensive piece of slackline gear you can buy. Check it out on this episode of How Not to Highline. Hi, I'm Ryan Jinks and welcome to my gear room. We are going to break a line grip, a G2 line grip on our new Slacksnap 2.0 machine. I have worked on creating this machine since we stopped using the yard and the trees and my van to brake test stuff. And we designed this machine to brake up to 222 kilonewtons. This is a 9mm soft shackle that we did our final brake test at. And we had theories at what it would break at, and I'm glad I didn't do anything stronger, as it was quite scary. It broke at 176 kilonewtons, where the noose was, and it was quite violent. And since it passed our test of 176 kilonewtons, we decided to bring it home and pretty it up and stick it in the garage. We can always go beyond that later, after I catch up on all the requests that you guys have made on things I should test. Because most tests, honestly, are under 30 kilonewtons. So we are going to do the grand opening by breaking an expensive piece of slackline gear. Technically, this is not the most expensive if you buy a single long piece of webbing. And if we want to be technical, dynamometers are the most expensive single piece of gear you can buy. Now, we're not going to break a dynamometer today, but we are going to use the line scale in order to break the line grip, because they're made by the same company, and I think that's just funny. The Rock Exotica Enforcer, by the way, reads up to 20 kilonewtons, and it's got a cool swivel, but it is over $850, whereas the line scale is half that price. It reads up to 30 kilonewtons. It breaks up at 80 kilonewtons, and if you like to nerd out on numbers like me, he just developed a second version of this line scale tube. Has a bigger eye, embedded battery, Bluetooth, better Bluetooth, and app capabilities. So go to linegrip.com if you like to nerd out on stuff like this. But anyways, we're going to break the single most expensive practical piece of hardware that you can buy for your slackline. So let's go into the garage and see this explode. Okay, so this is my garage, and I was fortunate enough to have the Slacksnap machine fit in here. I designed this thing in 2 halves to fit in my van so I can transport it around. It's not like transportable, but I can at least move it if I ever need to. And you can see how good it fits. So let me give you a quick rundown on how it works, and then we'll break the line grip. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on how this works because that's going to be its own episode. But basically, the dynamometer, the scale, is attached to this giant shaft on this giant 21-foot long rectangle. The usable length of this is around 15 feet or around 5 meters, which is quite big for a test bed. Now, most test beds are hydraulic, and that's probably the right way to do it. But I like Amsteel, I like pulleys, because I'm a slackliner. So we decided to make it a little janky and create a 20-to-1 pulley system. So my 20-to-1 pulley system is this block and tackle setup that I made out of parts that I had from my original ideas that didn't work. A lot of thought went into this. Anyways, there's a stack of 5 pulleys here, and a stack of 5 pulleys here, with 10 strands of 6mm Dyneema and 10 strands of 6mm Dyneema. And it basically pulls this 100,000-pound shackle, pulls it back, and breaks the gear. And over on that end, I have 8 pulleys on another giant shaft that stays stationary, and I can adjust the length of where this starts at, so the winch in the back only has to spool in a little bit to break my samples. What's nice about having the machine in the garage is that if you guys want to see something break, just let me know, and I'll put it on my list of things to do. It's a lot more convenient to do this here in my socks than to set up the whole brake test machine like we had before, where I would literally create a 2-to-1 on a 2-to-1 on a 2-to-1 and pull that with my van. That was a very limiting setup. This, I plan on doing over 1,000 brake tests, and it'll be a lot of fun to do the first one with the Linegrip. Michael's going to install our first webbing that we're going to start as a sample. It is tubular webbing because, in theory, the Linegrip should be stronger than this. And then we'll work our way up to stronger and stronger webbing until we break the Linegrip.
Oh my God.
Tubular webbing broke at 18.99 kilonewtons. That was in the back of the web lock. Tubular webbing has a lot of kinetic energy and it is very dramatic when it breaks. This, other than getting maybe scratched up, is just fine. Let's try type 18 and see what that's going to break at. Okay, type 18 broke at 21-ish kilonewtons. In the back of the web lock, back there, just like always. Pretty consistent with results I've gotten, maybe a little less than the best I've ever gotten in the past. This is a used piece, FYI. I mean, it's not a bad piece, but you can see it is a used piece. Yeah, it's a pretty sturdy thing. This is a high quality grip. If you're doing long lining in the park, this is the kind of grip you want because it's durable as hell. And this is the G2. This is only 8 kilonewtons, as you can see here, is the max load. Obviously, we just took it to 21. But, yeah, the G5 is 15 kilonewtons working load limit. So it's even stronger than this. Let's, looks like we're going to have to try spider silk in order to get this damn thing to break. So I used this to cover this. This shut off. Wow.
Oh wow.
Good thing we had this other dyno on here. Oh wow. So it broke. So the spider silk breaks at 42 kilonewtons. This did not go up to 42 kilonewtons, which is 9,800 pounds of force. Yeah, I'm glad we had 2 dynamometers on that. Otherwise, we would have been super curious. This probably got shut off from it whacking itself or whatever. But anyways. 6,800 pounds. I'll have to do the math in a minute. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, it breaks right there.
Yep.
I asked Andy where it broke, and then I told him I wanted to keep it a surprise. Well, I'm surprised. And it broke there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the same spot.
It's the same spot? Oh, yeah, it came off that.
Wow.
Interesting. I thought it was going to break right here. But I guess it's thinner right here.
Right on the loop.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it broke, so it was connected to the side. Interesting. So this officially broke at 30.5 kilonewtons, which is pretty good because the MBS, the minimum braking strength, is 25 kilonewtons. And what's interesting about MBSs is when I'm using ropes and webbings, it always breaks lower than the MBS. And when you break things like carabiners or metal, it breaks, hopefully, above. Because you're not punished for how you use this, whereas a rope and a webbing, every time you tie a knot, it lowers its breaking strength. So anyways, I'm pretty excited about that it's stronger than its MBS of 25 kilonewtons when it broke at 30.5. And the G5, the one that he's going to mail me because I broke this one, is a 45 kilonewton minimum braking strength. So it's almost twice as strong as this. It's working load limit. In order to stay safe, you're not supposed to exceed. For this one, it is 8 kilonewtons, but the G5 is 15 kilonewtons. The Linegrip was the original slackline webbing clamp back in 2010, and there's been over 20 generations since then. And you can go to the link I put in the description below to see the history of all the different versions that he has made. The one he sells today is the G5, and that is 193 euro, or around $200-ish. But he also has a smaller, lighter, cheaper version called the Nano, and that is around $100, and that is perfect for something like a Highline where you're just putting a grip and a line slide on it and doing a Buckingham 3-to-1 tensioning method. So you have those two options if you go to linegrip.com and need to buy a grip. So there is our grand opening of our new SlackSnap machine. Send me ideas that you want to see broken. I already have a list of things I want to do, but I want to hear what you guys think we should test because it's a lot easier for me to do so now. I appreciate my patrons. In this case, Linegrip, Andrew Riedrich did sponsor this item, but the machine did cost over $3,000. So I do appreciate my patrons because I could justify doing that because they support me with $1 per episode. I'm also interested in testing used gear. And if you've got used gear that you're done with and really curious about how strong it might be, message me and maybe you can send it to me and I'll start collecting that stuff and we'll do a whole episode on different kinds of used gear. And if you guys are interested in making a How Not to Highline video, if you have spent a long time learning something and putting together a project, maybe you can film it and we can make a whole episode about it. We have some people working on that right now, and so we can mix it up on this channel. Message me if you're interested in getting involved. And as you can see, gear is not invincible, and there is a very small chance something could break and you might die. Therefore, you shouldn't highline.